So basically, if somebody has a property taxes due, we can step in and take care of those taxes for them. And the way the law is written, it allows that borrower to give us authorization to get that lien transferred from the county to us. So we effectively step into the shoes of the government. Now, we've done that as a business model. I happened to be a real estate investor before. When I met my business partner, I said, "What is it that you do?" And he showed it to me, and I said, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen." It's so much security, right? Because you step in front of every lien holder that exists.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Andy Moon, is an investor and attorney licensed in Texas and Oklahoma, based out of San Antonio. He's also the founder of the Drone Strike app. Andy, thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, I want to dive in, if we can, into the tax foreclosure space, because we were talking before hopping on the show here, and you've really got an interesting strategy that even I, as a Texas realtor, have not heard before.
Excellent. Yeah. So what we do is we do ad valorem tax loans. So basically, if somebody has a property taxes due, we can step in and take care of those taxes for them. And the way the law is written, it allows that borrower to give us authorization to get that lien transferred from the county to us. So we effectively step into the shoes of the government. Now, we've done that as a business model. I happened to be a real estate investor before. When I met my business partner, I said, "What is it that you do?" And he showed it to me, and I said, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen." It's so much security, right? Because you step in front of every lien holder that exists. The only thing we really can't do is if you have a lis pendens, because that's a claim towards title, we can't really do that loan effectively. We could if we wanted to, but we're taking the risk. If we jump into that deal, we're at a very low LTV. Our loan to value is normally anywhere between 12 and 15%. That's kind of our average number that we run at. We make a spread on the investment of 4 to 5%. And then if we have to foreclose, obviously we've got a really good asset that's very secure. The beauty of the whole thing, though, is what my business partner said to me is we don't have to cheat to win. So many people in real estate want to try to cut corners.
Yeah.
They want to rip people off. This is an opportunity where, hey, we are your last gasp to save this property from property taxes. But also remember, you're going to get about 42.5% a year in penalties if you don't pay your property taxes. Let me step in, pay me 12%. I can also spread out your payments over a 10-year period instead of a 1-year period. I save you a ton of money, and we give you that opportunity to get back on your feet. The beauty of it is everybody that's investing with us, they're not really interested in the properties. They're more interested in the return on investment of the loans themselves and getting that spread.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Now, I'm thinking about why would a government be willing to say, hey, we'll transfer the foreclosure responsibility to someone else? Is it like advantageous for the government to basically say, hey, this is less work on our plate effectively?
It's more of the idea of selling a bond. So when I say that, when you look at the '08 crash, the first places that went into recession were places where the government wasn't receiving tax dollars. And the last places that went into recession were places where the government received their tax dollars longer. They also came out of the recession faster. Those two places were Las Vegas. And then you look at Texas, San Antonio was one of the first ones to come out of the recession. Now that's, if you really look at all of that and you do the empirical data on that, what is that? The government's able to act longer because they are allowing private investors to invest in the government. That's essentially what we're doing. But the only two states in the country that allow this type of investing are Nevada and Texas.
Now, is this primarily happening with single family homeowners, or is this happening also in the commercial space and with multifamily properties as well?
That's a good question. It's all over the boards. We've got right now about 60% of our properties are primary residences and 40% are commercial or investor properties. So when I say primary residence, that's something they live in or that one of their family members lives in. If it's a rental house, we treat those as commercial. We've got, man, a guy just came in. He's got 20 commercial properties. They're warehouses, apartment complexes, and everything in between. So those guys definitely come through, and we can definitely help them when they get in trouble. But if you look at the majority of what we see, it's going to be a lot of single family residential homes, whether it's an investor grade home or a primary residence.
Now, because of your experience and because of the segment that you're involved in, you have your pulse on, your hand on the pulse of foreclosures, right? And so, are you seeing right now, we're today, February 3rd, 2026. Are you seeing foreclosures tick up? Are you seeing them stabilize and go sideways? Are there less foreclosures right now than say there were 3 months ago?
Man, that's a great question. Everything that I do, because I'm so inside of it, I don't spend a lot of time stepping back and looking at the empirical data. But what I will say is I feel like there's less right now. And the reason why is I think there's more investors stepping in and trying to get properties ahead of those foreclosures. I think more people are getting loans. I've seen a lot of refinance opportunities come up with the rates dropping recently. I think more people are able to restructure their debts. They're able to sell their properties. So legitimately in the last 2 months, I would say we've seen a small downturn. Now the county in 2020 during COVID, you had counties that would not hold the foreclosure sales. And that led to a couple new markets, right? There were some auction houses that came online. They would get the contract with the county. Now they do the online sales. I believe Cameron County, I think Hidalgo County do online sales. There's a couple other counties that do online sales. And can you imagine if Harris County did online sales? That'd be insane, right? But I had a foreclosure going on in McAllen. How the house was not worth 30 grand. There's no way. And it sold to some investor for 60 grand online. It would have sold for 15 at the auction if somebody had to be physically there, excuse me, and have to have the cash in hand, right? Because I want to say it's in Harris County. If you don't hand them the cash, they don't go on to the next auction. They make you look like an idiot while you're standing there trying to pay out.
I want to ask
I've gone to jail, by the way, in Fort Worth, not me personally, but one of my guys, because he showed up too late to make the payment because we had to go over to Chase Bank in Dallas, drive back to Fort Worth, and the sheriff wanted to make an example of us. So he put him in custody, and I get the phone call. I was like, man, what are you doing? Like, we told you we had to go to the bank and come back. Like, that's crazy.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I guess that's so they're wanting you to pay like cash on the spot, like a cashier's check,
Cashier's
basically.
check. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't even know, honestly, don't even know what the rule is. Every county's different. So, if I go into a county that I'm not familiar with, I'll just talk to the constable or sheriff and say, what's the rules? When do I need to pay you? A lot of them just, if you get back here within 3 hours after the last auction, they're fine. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of the smaller counties, they want to protect their local guys.
mm,
So the outsiders, they're not as lenient with. But
good
what I
point.
was going back to and answering your question, because I kind of got off track there a little bit. We saw where the county did not do any foreclosures in 2020. I mean, it was virtually none. And then in 2021, everything started lightening up a little bit. And we went from and I cannot remember the exact numbers, but it was like 50 total foreclosures and lawsuits by the county in about an 8-month period to where they filed 600 in 1 month. So once they knew they could kind of get over the hump of the COVID scare, they turned everything back on. Now, what that meant was they're filing those foreclosures. It takes a year, 2 years, 3 years sometimes to do a tax foreclosure because you got to go through the judicial system.
Yeah.
So we are starting to see a lot of those finally get to that judgment phase. And so I think that's where we saw a lot of foreclosures, and nobody was shy last year. I will say last February when we ran our numbers, we had 5 times more delinquent people that matched our criteria than the year before.
That's a
So
huge increase.
yeah.
I would like to pivot a bit here, Andy, and ask you specifically about acquisition strategies for single family investors if they're looking at getting distressed properties from sellers who may be into foreclosure or pre-foreclosure. There's so many ways people do this in Texas. You've got the Roddy report, you've got, knocking doors, you've got, seeing probate lists and such and death and divorce. Do you have a preferred method or something that at least has piqued your interest recently?
So we created an app called Boots on the Ground. And this kind of came out of my business partner and I sitting looking at our list of leads. We had over 2 million leads that fit our criteria for lending. And, we're limited. We can't send out mail to all these people. So we mail out 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month, whatever it was that we had the budget for at the time. And he's like, man, out of 200,000 we sent out, we got 150 calls. Great. And out of those 150 calls, we turned into 70 loans. How do we get to those other, we're virtually 2 million people still untouched, right? And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to get to those people. And so essentially, when you have property taxes that are delinquent, you're really drowning, right?
Right.
You may have a mortgage. That's not real public data, but the tax data is very public. You can see it. You can see how much these people are sliding. You can see their historical pattern over the last 5 years. And you can watch people start slowly drowning if you look at the historical patterns, which is what we built into our algorithms. And we know when you're going to be delinquent. I can tell you, we say we can predict a tornado. We know where it's going to hit. No one else can do that. So that's our strategy, is to get to those tax delinquencies before they become a lawsuit, before they become a foreclosure, and before they become a problem, right? So we created Boots on the Ground was a door-to-door app where we would give it to investors 100% free of charge. You go in and you pick out the areas you want, pick out your criteria, and it just gives you one house at a time to go knock on the door, talk to the person, and see what they want to do. In our app, you could actually put the property under contract because we have the contract built into the app. You just turn your phone to them, they sign it right there on their phone, right? But here's where we help investors right now. If you are an investor and you go out and you knock on the door and the person says, man, I'm not selling my house. I'm going to save it. how many of these guys are like, the kind of guys that are going to stay there and they're going to say, you're going to have to pry me off this porch. I'm not leaving. Those people exist. We
Yeah.
give you that solution because what we'll do, you refer that person to me. I'll take care of their taxes for them.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And what we do is we then put that person in your portfolio in terms of if that person falls behind with us, you're going to get a notice through our app. Say, hey, these guys are behind again. You need to go talk to them because they need to do something. That now is not public data. That's only shared amongst the people that are in our network. And we're getting to that person and they're not having 4 million people knock on their door and make them agitated. But, what my advice, because I think that's the question you asked, is
Yeah.
my advice is to care, right? So many people are focused on the dollars and not the love of the game, right? That's I've heard that a lot lately. I don't know why,
True. It's true.
but if you care, if you go knock on that person's door and you genuinely care, like what's going on? Our first question we ask, and I think it's the best question to ask is, do you want to stay here or are you willing to move? If they're not willing to move, there's no real reason to talk to them about selling their house right now because then they're feeling pressure, right? Our goal is to not make them feel pressure. Our goal is to give them hope. That's actually our tagline. Hope is here. So we're going to go in and we're going to give them hope that they can do something. And I think that's the same thing as a real estate investor. Hey, let me give you some hope. Let me talk to you about how we can help you get out of this thing. The other thing, and this is probably the best advice for this time of year. I don't know when this airs, by the way, but this time of year, springtime, a lot of people are just trying to hang on so their kids can finish school in their school district. If you go in and say, hey, I'll buy your house, let you stay here through the school year. If you do enough caring to ask, why is it that they don't want to move? And you find that out, you can buy that house, let them either rent it for $10 a month, or you can give them to them at market, whatever it is that you want to negotiate. A lot of times I'll just buy it and let them live there for 2 months or 3 months free. And then I'll have them move out after that. And you're going to get a deal. You're going to sit on it. If you've got carrying costs, you got to worry about maybe not the right exact strategy, but you can get rent out of them. So you don't have to worry about that carrying cost.
No.
But now you care, right? And that's the difference.
I think a lot of this gets lost in, people trying to make a quick buck or trying to get into real estate. But the more you do deals, especially in the distressed space, the more you realize like you're wearing many hats. You're an investor, you're someone who's a rehab estimator, you're someone who's potentially like a crisis coordinator. There could be issues in the family. Now you're bringing people together. People haven't spoken in years. They're coming together. There could be distress in the property as well, right? And all of this comes into play. And so if you're going with like one tool, it's going to be very challenging. And so being able to not just do multiple things, but also bridge that human connection is important. It does require some more work, but it is very important.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite stories is a guy was going out knocking on doors. And what a lot of people don't know is when you're over 65 or if you're disabled in Texas, you can defer your property taxes and you're not subject to foreclosure. So if I go out and knock on somebody's door and I find out they're 65, like, hey, you're getting foreclosed on. Let me help you file your paperwork. It's free. I'll file it for them. I'll run it through my law office. We'll take care of them. No big deal. Because it's more important to save your property. That's ridiculous to let the county win.
Yeah.
You should be taking care of your property. So this guy that went and knocked on doors for us, he had no experience in real estate. He was homeless and he was cutting grass for a guy and he saw us talking to him about our app. And he goes, can I do that? And I said, heck yeah, you can do that. Got any real estate experience? And he said, no. I said, perfect. So we showed him exactly how to do it. What he heard was us talking to this guy about being over 65. His uncle was over 65 and disabled and lost his house to tax foreclosure. And he said, had he had that knowledge, he could have helped him. So what we didn't know is this guy was doing the best out of anybody in our system. He made $18,000 his first 6 weeks out. Was killing it. And I was like, what is your secret? I want to know what your secret is, man, because we feel like we're the experts, but I can learn from you. What did you do? And he goes, I wake up every morning. He sleeps in his car. He goes to the YMCA, takes a shower. Then he goes, drives and knocks on doors. He said he stops once he finds that person that's over 65 or disabled and helps them get their exemption. Then he goes on about his day. So everybody he talked to, his goal was not to buy their house. His goal was not to get them tax loan. His goal was to help them save their house. And he ended up being extremely successful. He's now a realtor himself, moved out to California. He's killing it, doing great. And so it was just a mindset that a lot of guys don't have. But when you talk to people that are truly successful in this business, it's a different mindset than making money.
We are coming up on time here, though, Andy. Any new projects that you're working on? And then also, what's the best way for folks to get in contact with your team?
Excellent. We are about to launch a beta version of Drone Strike. Drone Strike is basically just a desktop version of our handheld app. So Boots on the Ground is converting over to Drone Strike. Boots on the Ground was basically door to door, one person at a time. Drone Strike is going to allow you to skip trace, get emails, phone numbers. You can mass text and mass email. You can do drip campaigns, so it's a full CRM. So we're launching that. We're actually going to launch Friday, go out with a beta group. But we'd like to start connecting with people that would be interested in using that. Our website's dronestrikeapp.com. You can go there. It's a big, huge logo. Scroll down to the bottom, fill out your information, and we'll keep everybody up to date on what we're doing. If you need help with anything title curative or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us, talonlegal.com, and we'll be glad to help you out on any title curative issues you may have as well. So great being here with you. And hopefully, maybe I have to be back on because I got a lot of other stuff to say.
Thank you for your time today, Andy. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.